you everyone for coming and hear me talk about my special interests. You will see, Peter, that I still talk about the same stuff I did in this process all years, 3 years ago. So today I'm here to talk to you about my childhood traumas. Not really. And it is, have you ever felt like you are just pretending to be an adult, Like everyone around you, they knew what they were doing and how to navigate the world, and you are just here in the middle, just pretending. And at some point, the adult police was going to come and get you and tell you, no, you can't. You have to go back to training camp. Or is it just me? I hope not, but who knows? When I was a child, I used to believe that adults, they had everything figured out. They knew what they were talking about, where they were headed, the meaning of life. Plus, I had parents, so parents know everything about everything. I had a lot of beliefs, like I would go to school, learn to do a job, and then do this job for the rest of my life, and that would be it. And I also had beliefs that by hitting 30, I would be wise and old. Now I'm 35, and I'm on my third career, so yeah, so much for the job. And I am still afraid to call the doctor's office, because who knows, they might answer. So, yeah. Not that much. In the 15 years into adulthood, not that much. Plus, today I'm speaking here, and I really, really feel like I don't belong. Like, yeah. So, my conclusion after these 15 years of adulthood is that I'm not the only one feeling like that, because some of my friends ask me to ask the doctors for them. And people, most of the time, are just winging it, and I've absolutely no idea what they are doing. I will talk about this concerning tech and teams also. First, I will talk about a little bit about me, because this is relevant to the rest of this. So I'm Leah. I went a few years ago to engineering school because I loved math and logic and science. And then I majored in organizational sociology. So let's say it's a management adjacent field. But in my brain, it was somehow related to math and science and logic. We will see today that I am not a firm believer in the hard versus soft science thing, and I don't believe either in the hard versus soft skills barrier. At this time, I was 22, and it was hard for me to reconcile this vision of organizations and how they think of themselves, and collective intelligence, and people innovating on how they do things and on the things they do, with the reality of management in the capitalist society. So I decided to take another direction, and I worked in the cinema for a few winters and hiked the mountains for a few summers. After a few years of this, I went back to math first and became a teacher. A little side note here: if you think that people have everything figured out, become a teacher, and you will see that teachers have absolutely no idea what to do. At some point, I just stopped giving detention to students, because detention is so much work. You have to first give it, then do the paperwork, then follow through, and so it's so much harder to give it than to not give it. Finally, 4 years ago, I bootcamped my way into tech, and I am now a software engineer at Chaudeau Lyon, which is a craft-oriented service company. In software development and in craft-related things in particular, I found this missing link from organizational sociology and math and science and logic. This is a field, tech in general, where we can innovate on how we do things and on the things we do, and it makes sense for me that these two things are intricated. And this is some of the stuff I will talk to you about today. So, first, let's talk about arriving into tech. It's 2020. I am fresh out of a Java Spring Boot Angular full stack engineer bootcamp, and I'm so ready to get to meet the experts. I saw Dired 4, so a developer is someone who can just walk in, take his foldable keyboard out of his jacket, put it on the desk, and I don't know, like hack the system of a nuclear power plant. This is basic stuff for people in tech, right? This is how this works. Plus, I went to school with a lot of computer bros, and they look like very capable people. They worked around the clock, they did this super secret LAN party stuff, and at this time you had to take a desk computer to a LAN party. So this looked very serious, and yeah, I'm getting into this. I will meet these experts. This is funny that this is how I decided to illustrate this, because right before he was talking about dungeon keepers, so yeah, I have. At first, I was really not disappointed, because I worked in teams and senior devs, they really knew all the answers to my questions. Like, oh, I'm a child again and my parents can help me with everything. But more importantly, they knew the right way. It's important. Very early in my career, I met some people that really knew the right way, the best way to do stuff. And I met pretty early the craft world and craft people, and they knew really, really the best way to do this. Oh, you don't know TDD? Oh, you must suck at your job. You're a very bad developer. What? You can't tell what a context map is? Oh, are you even a software engineer? But they were so confident and so sure that I didn't question, and yeah, tech people did not disappoint. But then I switched teams. I met more people, and the new people, they also knew the right way to do stuff, the best way to do stuff. And you guessed it, this was not the same way as before. So yeah, is someone wrong, or are they all wrong? Maybe, just maybe, all of this confidence is a little bit for show. But I really discovered like the extent of that when something happened to me in daily meetings. I noticed at some point that some of my colleagues were saying, oh, yesterday I helped Leah with this and this and this, and this is what I did yesterday. Oh, funny, because I'm Leah, and this is what we did from 10 to 10:05. So yeah, I wonder what you did the rest of the day. And this was not something that happened once. This is something that happened with multiple teams and multiple guys. And one day, I found myself, oh, today I didn't do anything really interesting, but I helped this newcomer with some stuff. Maybe tomorrow, at daily, I could say, today I helped Leah with this and this and this. What was happening to me? So the why people do that is not really what I want to talk about, but I want to I want to address the response that is a lazy response to this, that is, oh, people are just lazy. No one is lazy, and even if we would all prefer not having to work in this society where our work is our worth and live in a better place, we are not. And I truly believe that people, when they are at work, are trying their best. Because who would want to just wait for death to arrive? So that went dark, quick. My goal today is to show that this kind of behavior, disengagement, burnout, cover-ups, all this stuff is the result of interpersonal fears, which are the fears that speaking up or sharing or voicing your opinions will have consequences on you, on your job, on your career. And we are afraid to look foolish or incompetent and push to an extreme. This is what leads to people saying that they helped me for a whole day when it took only 5 minutes. So, what did I do, me, the junior career switcher, to improve my surroundings and to try and not do the same? I would like to share 3 tricks and stories that I used throughout my very long 4-year career. First, when coming into a new team, I will try and find someone that I think is trustworthy of my most stupid questions. I do that for my first team because on my very first team, I spent 3 days trying to locate the Docker icon on my computer. And everyone, the installation guide was saying, it was written, install and open Docker. So I installed Docker, sudo apt-get install Docker, and then I tried to open Docker. And everyone was telling me, oh, yeah, you just find the icon and you click it. Yeah, but I don't find the icon. Find the whale and click on it. Yeah, but I don't understand. So 3 days in, I asked someone, like, I really don't understand. Everyone is telling me to find the whale and click on it. And there's no whale on this desktop. I don't understand. And the other guy, show me. I show him my computer, and he's like bursting into laughter, like, yeah, but you're on Ubuntu, so there is no graphic interface. Okay, so yeah, 3 days of my life are gone. I'm not doing this again. Now I ask first. So when I'm the person welcoming a newcomer on my team, I try to be this person that you can ask for the Docker, for the whale. On a previous team, I was going out, newcomer was going in, and we had to transfer knowledge. So we did like 3 weeks of pair work with me, and everything will be done after a few days or weeks. And we were doing sessions like 8 hours a day of me working, watching, and this was not doing it for me and for her, because you can't learn, you can't take in so much information in such a short amount of time. So I tried to start on telling her stuff like, oh yeah, I'm cooked for today, we will go back to this tomorrow. Oh, this was a lot, only 2 hours this afternoon, and then you will go back, blah, blah, blah. And I noticed a shift in what she responded to me. The next day, she was like, oh, I need a break. Every like hour or 2 hours, she would say that. And saying that there were no consequences, she would try. She would begin to ask real questions like, I didn't get what you did. I didn't get that. Can you repeat? And after that, this was a lot easier, and it went a lot faster for the rest of this, even though we only worked 2 hours a day on this specific topic. And last, for the teams where I wanted to say, I helped Leah yesterday because, the newcomer. I start saying, I did nothing yesterday. I did not manage to do any of my work, and that's it. On daily meetings, and first there was a little bit of shock, like, okay, she's here telling us she did nothing yesterday. But then other members of my team did the same. Oh, yeah, yesterday I did nothing. And but 1, 2, 3, yeah, maybe we have another problem. Why doesn't any of our developers do anything this week? Seems weird. So we addressed it. We had a big issue with cognitive overload on our tickets and on our features. And so we addressed it, we solved it, and we were in a better world. I was super proud of my tricks. And I talked about them to some of my friends. I am very fun at parties. And I truly believe that I invented a whole new field of management and organization. Turns out this has existed since the 50s, and it is called psychological safety. My friends told me about it, so I Googled it. And I found a book that's called The Fearless Organization by Amy Edmondson, which is a compilation of a lot of research across industries, not only tech, on psychological safety and its benefit and its relation to performance of teams. I will fail to mention her further, I know this. So most of the serious stuff that is from now on in this talk is sourced in this book, and the rest of it is sourced in my experience. But it's not that serious. What is it? Psych safety. It is the fact to feel safe enough to contribute your ideas without fearing repercussion for you, for your job, and for your career. This is a crucial point for both admission of mistakes and innovation. These are the two key elements that you want to know about your organization and your team. Mistakes you want to know very fast, because if you don't, you get in the cover-up and work-around circle, and this exposes you to more mistakes, and this escalates, and it is a disaster. You might know this as a fail-fast thing for startups. And innovative ideas you want to know because, well, you want to be innovative, and there are innovative ideas. So, yeah. In research, we can see that both mistakes and innovations are not voiced in unsafe organization. You can't have just innovations or just mistakes. Both go, either people tell them or don't tell them. And there are multiple reasons for this. First is what I call, I'm not the only one, the old school management, which is you get me this thing done by Monday or you get fired, I don't want to hear about it. This is the kind of management that will make people cover up. They don't have, it either works and fine, or it doesn't work, and instead of telling you, they will just cover it up. There is a few stories about this. In the book, Amy Edmondson talks about the Volkswagen scandal and Dieselgate. I don't know if you're familiar, but toxic management led to a big cover-up in software and a big scandal and disastrous consequence. But in tech, this happens a lot on less large scale, littler scales, I don't know. A few jobs ago, I arrived on teams where I didn't understand. So I was replacing some guy that was from my management, like, oh, he's our top guy, he's so good. But you just have to take a few return from tests. I've written a few bugs. You just have to correct them. But yeah, you're replacing this guy. Should be easy. And I write this, and the return for test and it's more like, it's not like nothing works. It's even nominal cases don't work. And I'm like, okay, but what is this? And so he was considered so good, the guy before me, because he was delivering very fast stuff that don't work. But the persons that were evaluating his work didn't know that it doesn't work. So to them, he was good. I give him stuff, 2 days after it's done, and I can build this to the client. Yeah. And then I arrived, and I was, oh, but this is not working, this is not working, this is a clear security issue. So I was a problem. And I thought I was delivering value because, yeah, I mean, we can't sell this to a client. Turns out we can sell this, and we'd rather sell this than my version. This leads us to the voice versus silence dilemma, which is the main dilemma you have to overcome in order to have psych safety and to have access to mistakes and innovations in your team. The dilemma is to voice something, is to provide benefits for the group with a delay and with uncertainty. You don't know if your voice will have good or bad outcomes. So maybe it will provide benefit, maybe not. Where the silence is a benefit for myself, and it is now, and it is certain. So in order to have access, you have to overcome that and make people want to use voice over silence, which is pretty hard. Psych safety is measurable, but I will not bore you with that. And I will say that this is not about being nice. This is not, oh, you failed. Well, no biggie, but better luck next time. No, this is, oh, you failed. Let's find out why, and we can do better next time. This is not a personality factor. This is not about being more outspoken. It is about creating a climate so that even shy people will use voice. And finally, this is not about lowering standards, because it is the opposite. This is about finding solutions instead of scapegoats and resolving things, not working around them. We have arrived in the perfect world, because if you do have psych safety in your organization or in your team, you will see benefits, and this is all the following is rooted in research. Benefits on learning from mistakes and from other people. This means the team can adapt easily, and they can just learn a new skill. There are a few examples in hospitals where you have to learn and apply a new protocol. So if you have psych safety, the team will switch fast, and if you don't, not. But we are in a fast-evolving industry, so it seems like a pretty good idea to have fast-learning teams. But this is just my opinion. You will have benefits on performance. One of the studies that shone the most light on this concept that is psych safety is a study conducted at Google a few years ago, trying to link performance across organizations, and they were trying to find the right settings for teams to perform, because they have a lot of teams and they are performing very well, but some teams better than others. So the purpose of the study was to find out why and how to apply that at a larger scale. And they, yeah, spoiler, this was psych safety, because you can recruit the smartest and most skilled people. It is not enough if you don't give them an environment that will make them want to contribute. You have to make them safe for them to contribute their skills to the group. This is also a great tool to use to put conflict to good use. This is something that we hear a lot, that conflict is good because you can hear both multiple sides of something, but most of the time people in conflict, in order for that to be a thriving experience, you need to navigate it the right way, and a big part of that is to navigate it with psych safety. And my favorite is this is a great tool to gain actual value from diversity. And this is my favorite because so reflecting on my first years in tech, I was a little down because I was advocating for more diversity in team and diversity in backgrounds. Career switcher will give you that, but I felt like I lacked support in most of my teams to contribute my skills to the team. And when I stumbled across psych safety, I understood that this was, in some of my teams, the missing ingredient that would allow people with different backgrounds and to contribute their skill, and that this is how teams could gain from their diversity. And there are also benefits on other things that are overcoming geographic dispersion, engagement, and so on and so on. So this looks like this is the perfect tool, right? Like, I mean, I read the book, and I'm like, okay, so why are we not all doing this? This seems pretty easy. Be safe, don't be an ass, and let's go. Well, to answer this, I would like to refresh a little your memory on a little tech history. So at first, tech was a low-level technical job, which was called automated form of hand computation. We were doing computation by hand and then with computers. So this was mostly performed by women, and it was not paying well. But then computer size reduced, computer power increased, and some people understood that this would be the heart of a lot, if not all, of the important stuff in life. In the 1950s, researchers, mostly men, because in the 50s women did not have the same access as research as now, began to use the first computers to solve their stuff, but we still had a lot of limitations on computer power, and so there was some skill needed to fine-tune the programs for them to solve stuff. This is where the voodoo mystical, long-bearded messiah computer guys take its root. At the time, computers were a little magic, and there was this belief that only a few people, a handful of people, could talk to them and get what we want out of them. At this time, there was also a study that showed that the difference between a good developer and a bad developer was of 1 to 26. 1 to 26 what, will you ask me? We don't know. 1 to 26 productivity. And I talk about this because this study has contributed a lot to the lore of software engineering, but it was not no scientific method. The sample was 12 dev, and productivity was measured in who knows. But by mid-60s, this trait of computer voodoo guy and a good developer can do the job of 26 mediocre ones, has made it to the profiles that were used in recruitment. Coder, which was the name for the woman developer, had become software engineer, pay was up, and yeah, we had only guys now. The recruitment tablets were saying, look for those who like intellectual challenge rather than interpersonal relations or managerial decision-making. Look for the chess player, the solver of mathematical puzzle. So you're telling me that we have actively looked for people with poor interpersonal skills in computer science since the 60s. It's been 60 years that we take people in that are thinking like that. Yeah, cool. It is funny, the look for the chess player or the mathematician, because chess and math are also two fields where we have personified the work of hundreds into one person. Did you know that Pythagoras, Euclid, and Thales were schools and not people? Hundreds of people working for 2 centuries on the theorem of Pythagoras. But now, in our collective mind, these are 3 dudes that invented math. Closer to us, chess players, we only see one, but they have a lot of people working on theory crafting for them, and mental preparators and stuff, but we never see. This personification and invisibilization of these workers serves a purpose, but it is not performance. For chess players, it was just Cold War propaganda. Look what a single man can do on both sides. So this is why we say, oh, this man is a genius, and not this team has found this new opening. But for tech, this image of the nerd helped scientists and engineers that came into the field to gain power, to gain social status and money. My point with all this is we have created a collective image of what a developer should be, what a software engineer should be. And this image used to serve a purpose, but this purpose is not performance or well-being. And now we have decided collectively to stick with it forever and to try and make the world work around it. So, to get back to psych safety. It is a skill, and it can be measured. I'm so late on my timing. Psych safety is a skill, and it can be measured in every group of an organization, and it can be different and very different from one group to another. Each leader on each level is responsible for the psych safety of their sphere of influence. I talked earlier about pairing with a newcomer, and in this setting, I was the leader of this group of 2. So this was on me to install psych safety on this sphere. In the team I currently work at, we are 8. We have a tech lead. He is the leader of this group of 8. This is his job to install psych safety for all of us. My tech lead, he has a boss, who is the boss of all tech leads, and this is this person's job to install this in the tech lead group. So, to psych safety in organization, psych safety at scale, if I want to be in, is the responsibility of a lot of people. Like, a lot of people have to master this skill for this to be an organizational stuff. And as I just discussed, we just never actively choose people with this skill in our recruitments. And it's more like that. We carry this collective imagery of the opposite skill set as what we think is cool and will be rewarded and promoted. So this means even if we accidentally take someone in that has the skill of psych safety, they would be less likely to access positions of power, so positions where they could install it, which seems crazy. How to move forward? So this is a little more practical how to do it and how to learn psych safety and do it in your job. There are 3 steps. First, framing the work. You need to, the same way in the 50s, software engineering was rebranded as what we think of it now, we can rebrand it into something else. For that, we need to reframe. A big part of that is to reframe failure. Like, failure is not a personal mistake. Most of the time, it's the produce of a process that failed, and we need to remind people that. And you also need to clarify the need for voice, which is telling people what they should voice their concern about, what is their job, and how they fit into the organization. And it is important also to create a sense of purpose, because human beings like to have purpose, which if when you have rebranded, reframed the work, you need to, it is not enough. It is more psychologically safe, but if you want people to use voice, you need to invite them to participate. As a leader, you need to do that by showing humility. I would like to note at this point that humility and confidence are not opposite. You can be very confident and very humble at the same time. You have to ask questions. Also about that, a lot of questions that we ask are rhetorical, so true open questions, and a lot of people, a lot of us, tend to ask questions just to share our opinion in another way, and so this is not question. You have to really ask questions and structure the input, which can be focus group, one-on-one, chat, whatever. You need to tell people, so ask them questions and tell them how to respond to them in an organization in order for this to work. And then if you did those 2 things, you will have people voice their concerns, and you have to respond productively, which is first show appreciation. Not everything that is voiced will have a good outcome for your organization, but the fact that it is voiced is a good outcome. So the first step is to always welcome feedback and celebrate the fact that the feedback exists. And the other thing is to switch our beliefs around failure, because there is a difference between the failure due to violating a rule or a value that matters to the organization, and a failure that is just the product of a bad process. But we tend to treat all failure the same. Failure is bad and we don't want it, so people will get consequences. No, not all failure is bad, and not all failure is the same. It is the same as people saying, if I let this go for you, I will have to let this go for everyone. No, you don't have to treat everyone the same. You have to treat everyone depending on what's the situation. But still, if you want to have psych safety, you have to protect it, which means you have to sanction clear violation of the values and the rules that you put in place. So, what should you take from this? Well, if you're a coach and your suggestion always gets rejected in a team, which is weird because you're the coach, they pay you to make suggestions and then they ignore it. You're a manager and you find that your team just sucks. Like, they are not good and I want them change. Well, maybe it is you that is the problem. Not because you're not good at your job, just because you don't know how to use the people and the skills that you have. I have seen this so many times because I switched teams a lot, and teams and leaders trying to solve these problems by offering more and more and more technical expertise. Like, oh, we don't know how to, we can't deliver, let's get more DevOps. Let's get more experts. And in some of the team I was in, a lot of them, this was this psych safety thing that was missing because the skill was there, but no one knew what to do. Everyone was just paralyzed by a lot of fears. I will repeat myself that this is a skill that I presented to you, and so this can be learned, and you should learn it if you are in a position of leadership, however small it was, if you want for your team to thrive. Some people would say it's a soft skills, but I strongly disagree with this because it has very technical outputs. I recently heard some stuff, boo-boo, boo-boo, if we only hire people for soft skills, then we will have a drop in the technical level of the teams. I also strongly disagree about this because if you have the right soft skills, you can learn the right hard skills, but the opposite is just not true. So you should definitely prioritize soft skills in your recruiting, in making your team, and search for diverse and skilled people and get them in a psychologically safe environment, and all your problems will magically disappear. I have a few seconds to tell you that the illustrations are for my sister, which is called Eve, and this is me, and this is the company I worked for.
No problem. Yeah.
So, do you have any books to apply soft skill in a team? So, some recommendation of
Well, the book from Amy, Fearless Organization, really switched my perspective on this. Okay. And it's so well sourced that you can go into every rabbit hole, like, oh, she cites this and this and this, and this is a really good entry point of all this stuff.
Did you have the opportunity to face your former colleagues, the gatekeepers or others, with the issues you faced?
Yes and no. I still am in contact with some. But this is not... This looks like I'm pointing fingers here, but this is very common behavior in the industry, and it's not personal to the teams where I was in. It is something that I heard from multiple people, and sharing my side is not about my colleagues personally, in my opinion.
One last question, or is it a wrap? Okay, I think. Oh, lucky you.
did you find a situation? Did you find a situation where this mindset or this lack of psych safety came from the society itself or from the culture of the team was in? So not within the team itself, but from the culture of the people.
You mean societal culture of people?
Yes.
Well, yes, all of them, because the Nord Army is the cultural default setting of the industry. So to me, this is the root of every situation where you don't have psych safety. And it is an effort to get out of this. It takes to come to this kind of stuff, and so see keynotes that talk about systemic thinking and stuff.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Leah.